What happened over there?
I have my eyes open. I want to protect the people I put in harm's way.
Iron Man is directed by Jon Favreau and it stars Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, as well as it starring Terrence Howard, Gwyneth Paltrow and Jeff Bridges. Now this is the first in my series of Marvel movie reviews leading up to the release of Avengers 4. They'll go from basically from Iron Man all the way through to Ant-Man. Even though I reviewed Ant-Man and Avengers 2 and the first two Captain America movies, I'm just going to re-review them. Not quite happy with the way the videos came out because yeah, this is also a new style for me. The mic is way further back than I would normally have it. So if this video comes out as really quiet, let me know. Or if you like how this video is, you know, framed and shot, let me know about that as well. Now Iron Man is obviously the origin story of Iron Man. It's Marvel's first movie in their Marvel Cinematic Universe, where Tony Stark is a famous billionaire philanthropist. He goes to, I think it's Afghanistan, to show weapons to the military, and then he's attacked and he's kidnapped by these terrorists in this organization called the Ten Rings, and he's, you know, tortured and forced into making a missile for them that would make them, you know, absolutely powerful. And, you know, he doesn't want that because America and patriotism, which is fine. And then he escapes, he goes back home, and he has to deal with the fact that these are the repercussions of what my business is doing, how he's going to develop from that. And of course, this movie's been out for over 10 years, but I still can't be bothered by explaining the plot beat by beat because I'll probably, and this video will have spoilers in it, it's just, it'll, you know, there'll be more stuff as the video goes on, you can guarantee it. Starting off with the writing, of course, of Iron Man, it's very well done. The dialogue between each character is quick and witty, and Tony Stark just becomes an absolutely lovable character. No matter how much of the bad things that he does in the movie are, he still comes off as a very lovable character very early on, due to the quick and witty dialogue he has. And the way his dialogue bounces off from every other character, sort of like, you know, spokes on a wheel. The way he you know, treats different characters differently, that was really well integrated into the writing, and, you know, his character really feels fully fleshed out within the first few scenes of you meeting him, and you understand exactly who he is through the writing alone. The story itself is quite strong. It is a, you know, it's your origin story, and for back in the day, quite great, like, you know, original origin story, and where it integrates its, like, you know, the themes of, well, this is Iron Man, and it deals with war and terror and, you know, arms dealing, which is sort of like how it was when he was created back in the 60s. But then you have like the Afghan war and the war on terror happening, so he just feels like a timely character once again. The direction by Jon Favreau is quite great. He directed movies beforehand like Elf, which is incredibly insanely funny, and I am sort of looking into maybe reviewing Elf for the Christmas things. It's just a Christmas idea. We'll see how it goes. It's quite strong. He handles the action incredibly well for someone who clearly this is his first, you know, big action movie or his biggest movie yet. And the way he handles the visual effects elements are fantastic, and you see how that's paid off in dividends in the future with Iron Man 2, The Jungle Book and The Lion King. The way he's able to pretty much redeem Robert Downey Jr.'s career and, you know, propel him to to one of the biggest stars on the planet, which he is today. That's all, like, you know, Jon Favreau's direction and how he managed to get the most fantastic performance out of Tony Stark. Sorry, the most perfect performance out of Robert Downey Jr. Did not mean to say that. And speaking of, his performance is fantastic. Robert Downey Jr.'s performance is pretty much career changing. It changed him from being, you know, the washed up star that he was back in the day to the A+ list star he is now. He revitalized his career. Pretty sure he got Sherlock Holmes role because of this. He became the quick and witty guy, and he's only played Tony Stark pretty much since 2008. But he's fantastic. I really love his performance there. It's great. It's, you know, he becomes iconic in this movie. Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper Potts. She's fantastic. Really likable in the way that, you know, you get to know her, you understand her, and it's good to see her progression in character, you know, starting off from here and finishing where it does in Iron Man 3. Terrence Howard in his one and only Marvel movie role, yeah, he's good here. He's not an amazing standout performance, and he's definitely not something that I miss overall. Like the character of James Rhodes or War Machine, not a character that I find pivotal or particularly interesting. They haven't really given him, you know, a significant role or a fantastic character arc yet, but it feels like that Iron Man 1 might be the closest that we've gotten for him just yet. Hopefully that changes in the future, especially with Avengers 4 on the cusp since he survived Thanos' snap. But honestly, whether he was replaced by Don Cheadle or not, I really wouldn't, you know, care that much. Oh man, the lighting is amazing here. And of course I feel like we have to talk about the villains. The terrorists, you know, they're fine. They're generic villains where, you know, alright, we'll just have them here for the first half of the movie, which they only are. And then, you know, it's the way that Tony Stark gets his origin, and it's the way he spends his first action set piece in the Iron Man suit, which I've been playing behind me. They're fine, they're not really game changing, or they're just typical of the time. But Jeff Bridges as Obadiah Stane, one of the more, not really like a top tier Marvel villain just yet, but he is, you know, solid enough that, you know, you stick behind him and you go, alright, I kinda get ya, but at the same time it's like, well, all he's fueled by is greed. Is that a big enough motivation? And sort of, but not really. I mean, it's not like a revolutionary villain which you get like nowadays with Thanos, Eric Killmonger. I'd say Ghost to an extent. You know, they're sympathetic villains because you understand where they're coming from. With Obadiah Stane, it's only fueled by pure greed, so it doesn't really fit in with as much. And you just kind of go like, well, yeah, that's great and all, but it really feels like he's a villain carved out of a shell that was made for him in the 60s, which you know, he pretty much was. But Jeff Bridges' performance is good enough for, you know, to sit back and go, yeah, no, that's a good performance. Is it a memorable Marvel villain? Sort of. I mean, there are a couple of scenes which he, you know, genuinely threatening in, and that become like, you know, iconic, such as like the scene where he paralyzes Tony Stark, or even just the opening few scenes where you know, they're setting up just that plot twist. The supporting characters, Yinsen, Phil Coulson, Happy Hogan, and reporter Christie, they're all fine. They all pop up in another Marvel movie after this, including Christie. Actually, no, it's not a Marvel movie. She just pops up in Marvel branded content. My favorite performance out of those supporting characters was definitely Clark Gregg as Phil Coulson, which I'm really happy that he's in Captain Marvel, because thank goodness he's been dead for like 7 years. Now we're going to go back to 20 years before that happened, but that's alright then. The design of the Iron Man suit is cool, and I really like the colours of it. The CGI for it does look really well done, and you know, even the Ironmonger suit, the CGI for it looks done. There are a few times, a few cheesy shots where you just kind of go like, well, I mean, could you have done any better, you know, visual effects wise? And you go, yeah, I guess, sort of, not really. I mean, it was 2008, what more could you have possibly done? The action, like I said earlier, was incredibly well helmed. The action set piece that played before, as well as the big third act boss fight, they were really well done. You really understood the geography of the setting, and you got to see all the punches in through wide shots and medium shots, and you know, that's just good action. It's probably some of the best action that was in Phase 1, aside from the Avengers. The visual effects, like I've been saying in all review, really good. Not much more to comment on there, but the sound is really good. The sound design where you watch, like you're watching, you hear the, you know, the suits like bend and turn and open their arms, and you just hear the whoop sort of sounds. That's really awesome. The sound design is really crisp and clear, and you get a complete understanding of which sounds are coming from where. And that's something I really just got to congratulate Iron Man. It ties with Guardians of the Galaxy for the most Marvel Oscars that the Marvel movie's been nominated for, which is 2, Best Visual Effects and Best Sound Design. It's the only movie to be nominated for Best Sound Design of a Marvel movie. And it is really fantastic sound design. And but the cinematography, you know, it's nothing special, it's not mind-blowing or amazing. It's just a lot of still shots. Towards the end there are a few little bit of crazy zooms where you just kind of go like, there's Jon Favreau's comedic visual sensibilities kicking in, and it sort of takes you out of the movie a little bit by seeing these sorts of, you know, seeing these radical zooms and going, well, these sort of belong in, you know, like 1990s wacky comedies where starring the Wayans brothers, where it's just like they zoom in on one object that they really want. Overall, Iron Man is a fantastic Marvel movie, a fantastic action movie, and it's by far one of the best Marvel movies that's been released. Of the 20 or the 21 that's been released, I don't know. It's quite fantastic. So I will say that Iron Man is platypus-tacular. So let me know if you've seen Iron Man, what you thought of it in the comments down below. Also, tell me what you think of this new format. Do you like with the movie playing on in the background for more probably older movies? Do you like that? Obviously it's been a bit of a pain to shoot with the lighting and everything. I'm sure I can fix that up. If the audio sounds weird, let me know. Just, you know, any comments and how to improve the type of these videos, just let me know in the comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to Come on the Platypi, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye. Well done, you made it to the end of the video. Why don't you click on one of these 2 videos for more content, or subscribe, so just be reminded of when I upload. So, you know, subscribe. That'd be great.